The movie Trigger Warning is appropriately called since it's the kind of movie that ought to have a trigger warning of its own, alerting audiences to the possibility that they could get upset if they can't bear to watch a mind-numbingly dull, terribly performed, or horribly scripted movie. It's unfortunate that the movie is so awful because it had the potential to be Jessica Alba's dream comeback after she had been lost in the acting world for years. Despite this, Alba doesn't provide her best in this new Netflix movie. Her performance as Nancy in Sin City shows that she is capable of doing terrific work. While she rarely gives her character life throughout the dialogue-heavy parts of the movie, she is fairly credible during the action sequences. But Alba isn't solely to blame for the problem. She probably had a hard time working with the material she was given because the conversation she is expected to speak is rarely genuine. The other performers in the movie, such as Gabriel Basso, Mark Webber, and Anthony Michael Hall, don't fare well either. All of them are talented actors, so it should come as no surprise that their abilities didn't translate to the screen given the one-note roles they were given. The film revolves around Parker, Alba, a Special Forces operative, who returns to her hometown after learning of her father's passing. Her father may have committed suicide by causing a cave-in at a neighboring mine, according to Sheriff Jesse Weber. However, Parker feels there may have been foul play, and she spends the entire film attempting to find out what happened to her father. Parker soon comes into conflict with Elvis, a local criminal played by Jake Weary, who has managed to get military-grade weapons. There is a crazy plotline that revolves around how he obtained these weapons. Elvis Presley's father, Ezekiel, is involved in all of this as well. He is a corrupt local senator who is determined to keep Parker away from his company. Was he part of her father's demise? Your surprise won't be the response. Alba isn't well known for her action roles. In the Fantastic Four films, for example, she merely stood there and looked lovely as Johnny sparked his flames and Reed stretched his muscles. However, she performs admirably in this movie's action sequences, demonstrating her skill with both a sword and hand-to-hand fighting. The movie briefly comes to life while Parker is kicking the butt of the villain. However, these scenes are few and far between throughout the majority of the narrative, culminating in a full-fledged fight between Parker, the local bad guys, and a gang of terrorists who invade the town for unclear reasons. Back home, Mauli Surya, an Indonesian filmmaker, has produced a number of excellent movies, including the thriller Marlena the Murderer in 4 Acts, which was Indonesia's Academy Award submission. Sadly, she doesn't bring much energy to her English-language debut, Trigger Warning. Maybe this is because, like to the performers, she wasn't overly excited about the screenplay she was working from. With a tight budget and minimal creative guidance, Surya shoots a large portion of the film like a low-budget television series. Nevertheless, she makes effective use of the Mexican landscape in the movie's setting. But since this is an action film rather than a travelogue, I wish she had spent as much time and as perfecting the stunt scenes as she did capturing the bleak beauty of the surrounding area. With Alba emerging as the next big female action star, Trigger Warning seems like the kind of film on which a franchise could be built. Unfortunately, though, the likelihood of a sequel is extremely slim because I don't think many people would be interested in seeing a continuation of a film this bad. The characters are paper-thin, the acting frequently seems bored, and the plotting is nonsensical. This movie will disappoint even those seeking a few thrills during a Friday night Netflix binge because there are times when the melodrama takes precedence over the action. Trigger Warning is therefore a film best avoided. Consider watching one of the many superior female action films available, such as Atomic Blonde, Salt, or The Woman King, rather than this cliched mess with more flaws than the small-town creeps Alba's heroine stabs.